Hey y'all, I'm back with another YouTube video and I'm so excited for this one because this is the viral TikTok spaghetti. If you have not tried this, let alone even seen it, baby, you are in for a treat today. This is one of those meals that's affordable, quick to whip up, and your whole family is gonna love it. I personally have made it 3 times and I must say I haven't eaten lasagna in a minute. And essentially what it is like some spaghetti noodles that you make in a super flavorful Alfredo sauce. You top it with like a little ragu situation and some melted mozzarella cheese. Boil that for a few minutes and baby, you have a treat. Look, if you're a single mom, if you're just somebody that has a big family, if you live in an apartment by yourself and don't have no ideas for what to make for dinner, this is going to be something that you absolutely love. Before we get into the video, make sure you smash that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And without further ado, let's get into it. So we're gonna go ahead and get into our ingredients, which are super simple and like I said, affordable, but of course you can always check down below for the precise ingredients and measurements for your convenience. Okay, so I know a lot of people are kind of health conscious right now, so you can use whatever type of meat that you prefer. You could also use plant-based cheese or just omit the cheese if you're trying to watch that. But for this recipe, I'm going to be using butter and heavy cream and chicken broth for the Alfredo sauce, along with some mozzarella cheese, diced onion, and I showed pork sausage, but it actually went bad, so I decided to do ground beef. And I also didn't feel like making my own marinara sauce, so I just used the marinara sauce that I get from Whole Foods to jazz it up. If you guys would like to see a recipe on how to make homemade marinara sauce, please let me know. But if you guys love recipes like this, of course, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and turn on that notification bell. So the first step is going to be browning our ground beef or meat of choice. So I just put this on medium heat with a little bit of oil and just brown it with a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder, you know, the jazz of that. And this itself takes about maybe like 5 minutes just to get it like almost all the way done. You know, we're going to put it in the oven, so we don't want to be eating no like tough ground beef. And we're also going to be simmering it in the marinara sauce, so it's going to continue to cook in there. So you can just cook this all the way through or just almost all the way through. But once it's almost done cooking, I go in with my diced onions and cook those down just until the onions become nice and translucent. So as you guys can see here, I did not make my marinara sauce from scratch. But of course, like I said before, I can show you guys how I make my marinara sauce using San Marzano tomatoes. Super delicious and way better than a pre-made. But for this convenience of the recipe, we're going to use the 4 cheese marinara sauce from Whole Foods, but use whichever one that you prefer. And don't forget to fill the jar back up with some water up to the brim and add that back to the pot and allow that to simmer and reduce a little bit. So I let that simmer after it came up to a boil for about 5 to 10 minutes until it thickened a little bit, and that's what we're going to top our noodles with. So yes, just let this sit and simmer for a little while until it thickens. You know, taste it for seasoning. You can even go on with some basil. You can add a few more ingredients that you prefer. You can season it up with some salt, some pepper, some balsamic vinegar, whichever you like to do. And I also love to go in with some sugar because I believe that sugar is supposed to go into spaghetti and any type of spaghetti sauce. If you don't like to do that, baby, that's totally fine. Okay, so we'll set that to the side and allow that to continue simmering to have all those flavors develop while we work on our Alfredo sauce. This is my favorite part. My light went out and that's so embarrassing. I never charge my ring light for these videos, but yes. So what we're gonna do is take about half a tablespoon of butter and we're going to melt that over medium heat. Just watch it, make sure your pan is not too hot because it will brown and that's just going to give it like an ugly color. And we're going to go in with about 1 tablespoon or 1.5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. So I just stirred that really well with my rubber spatula. You can also use a wooden spoon. I just don't recommend a metal utensil because it will scratch up your pot. And we're just going to continue to whisk that until we form our blonde roux. So this will take us about 2 minutes until it makes like a nice golden brown smooth color like you see right there. We just want to get all of the lumps out and just make a nice beautiful base for our bechamel sauce, which is like one of the mother sauces. There's 3 mother sauces, which could be a whole nother video I could do for y'all. And this is going to be our base for our Alfredo sauce. So a lot of people don't make their Alfredo sauce like this, so I implore you to use whatever technique that you prefer. But I like to use a blonde roux and make a bechamel sauce, and I go in with some hot or warm milk. If your base, your bechamel sauce, the one that we just made, is hot, that's when you will go in with your milk or whatever liquid that you're using of the same temperature so it doesn't break. So you can either like steep the milk, heat it up in the microwave for a little bit, or just bring it to right above a boil, like simmer the milk. You just want it to be nice and hot so we can have an easier time of blending together our Alfredo sauce. Just a quick little French technique for you. So of course you can use a whisk, because I was using my rubber spatula because I didn't feel like looking for my whisk. Do y'all ever have utensils in the household that just disappear? Like, I feel like my forks and a lot of my kitchen utensils just be disappearing. It's like Toy Story, like they just leave the room when I'm not in there. But as you can see, I have my heat on medium low because we don't want that to be entirely too high. And this is a clip from the previous day. I did not do well on this batch of Alfredo sauce, so that's why you see it in a different pot. I'm just gonna go in with about a teaspoon of chicken bouillon paste. I love using better than bouillon because it's so flavorful to me. I don't have to use too much. I went in with about a teaspoon of that. Mix that in really well before going in with my Naija Grille seasoning. Y'all, I have my own seasoning line, but y'all need to tune in with Naija Grille Seasoning, okay? He's on to something. I'll link it down below in my caption for where to purchase it from Amazon. Y'all, it's thebomb.com. I am almost done with my bottle, and he sent it to me like a week ago. So shout out to the owner of Naija Grille Spices. The hot one is banging too, and you can put the seasoning in everything. So like I said, we're gonna season it to taste. You can do some salt, some pepper. You can also go in with some Parmesan cheese. I love to use Naija Grille seasoning, as I mentioned before. You can even go in with some Tony's, and you can also go in with the blend by Kinder's, which is also one of my favorites. Have all of this on medium low because we don't want to break our sauce by having it up too high. I learned that the hard way. And if it's too thick or it's too thin, you can go with some cream cheese or some more chicken broth. Okay, we'll let that simmer while we work on our noodles. But I do suggest using whatever noodle that you would like to use. I personally would love to see this recipe with like some rigatoni, some penne pasta, whatever type of noodle that you prefer. I feel like the spaghetti noodles are a little bit too much of a mess for my opinion, but of course you could just use the Barilla brand spaghetti noodles or whichever one you prefer and boil that to al dente. I recommend doing this step while you are working on your sauces because it does take 12 minutes, and by the time the noodles are done and you strain them, you'll have everything about ready to go. So what I did in my video was make my noodles at the same time that I was making both of my sauces. So yes, so by the time our noodles are done boiling, as you can see here, we have our pasta sauce, which is ready to go. After I drain my noodles, they're a perfect al dente. I go ahead and rinse those under some cold water, and I go in with our prepared Alfredo sauce. Like I mentioned, make sure you season this to taste, because if everything is too flavorful and too heavily seasoned, it's going to overpower each other if you put so much seasoning in every element of this dish. We're going to add cheese, which has salt. The marinara sauce is going to have salt, and the Alfredo sauce is going to have salt. You don't want you or your guests or whoever you're serving this to have a sodium overload. So yes, and I like my noodles to be this consistency. So I use about half a box of spaghetti noodles, which is about 8 ounces of whatever type of pasta that you'll be using, and I just added this to a greased catering pan. So this is like a half sheet pan. You can use it in a baking dish, like a 9x13, which would be perfect, and this essentially should feed about 4 to 6 people. After that, we're gonna mix all that together with a top layer of our pasta sauce. Just smooth it over the top, and it should look something like this. Super easy. And then we're gonna top it with a super thick layer of mozzarella cheese or Italian blend cheese. And I also meant to mention that my oven is preheated to 350, and we're just gonna pop it in there for about 15 to 20 minutes. In the last couple of minutes, we're gonna put it on broil, and once it's done broiling for about 3 to 5 minutes, just keep an eye on it, because that broiler, depending on your oven, is gonna burn it. It should look something like this, y'all. So fire. Look, you see how simple that was and how good that looks, y'all. This was super easy, super affordable. I got all these ingredients at Kroger for about $20. If you don't go to Kroger, you can find it anywhere for super cheap. If you go to Walmart, it's gonna be free, okay? Don't take that advice. But yes, I didn't even wait for this to cool off. I just dug right in, and you can see that I'm so excited to try this. It's so good. I would even try this with different types of cheeses. You can do Italian blend, you can do Gouda, you can do Manchego, you can do Asiago. Totally up to you. But my favorite part is how the Alfredo sauce is super creamy, super flavorful, and everything could just be like super customizable. And just look how good that looks. Like I said before, I would love to see this with different noodles, and I also feel like this would be fab with a side of some catfish, some garlic bread, a little bit of salad. Like, the possibilities are endless. And also, for those of you that are plant-based, you could even try this with some walnut meat. You could do Beyond Meat grounds. I don't do like the plant-based stuff, but if y'all want to see more vegan recipes, I love portobello steak, and we could start off with there, off of that starting point. But yes, like I said, there's so many different ways that you can remix this to fit your taste buds, and I guarantee you that your family is going to absolutely love this. I hate when TikTok trends and recipes are super overrated and do not taste good, but this viral TikTok spaghetti is definitely worth the hype. So I really hope you guys try this out and let me know how it tastes. So yes, that's about all of my time here, guys, and I am going to be consistent on YouTube. I'm going to bring in some more of my viral recipes, but make sure you let me know down below what you would like to see next. I love you guys, and be Be kind, and if you try this, thank me later.